fulfill my promise to God so that I can receive my blessings, because He keeps blessing me every time. 20 years in the industry, and it looks as if I just started.
That I can attest to. It looks like you just started.
Yeah. So God of Restoration, the title of the EP is because of everything that I've experienced between the year 2016 up until now.
Right.
After 2016, a lot happened to me.
It did,
a lot.
A lot.
Yes, divorce, 2018, had a little managerial problems. 2019, it was quite difficult for me to be able to put things together around me. And then COVID also hit. So around that time, everything seemed like, it's crumbling.
Yeah.
But then again, I went on my knees again. And I called unto my God to restore me. And lo and behold, He listened to my prayer. So that's why I titled this EP, apart from the promise I made in 2006, everything that I experienced between 2016 up until 2022, when things started to turn around. Yeah. So in the last 3 years, I can confidently say, I can hit my chest and say, you all attest to the fact too that God has restored Kwabena Kwabena.
God has overly restored you. And
So
I would just be part of this story, because I remember I was with you 2021.
Yeah.
But you know what I liked about you?
Tell me.
You actually said it would change.
Oh, yes.
In 2021, yes, you knew everything that you had gone through. You knew the pain. You took time to actually let it sink in, embrace it, stand with it, and you said that it was going to change.
Yes.
So when it started changing, and I saw you back in 2022, we've been in it 2023, 2024, 2025.
Yeah,
Look
we're
at us
going
now.
and beyond. We are going.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
And
praise be to God.
I don't know how many of us can, handle that situation. I know it's not an easy thing at all. I can imagine what you were going through, what was going through your mind at that time.
Yeah.
And Kwabena, sometimes when things like that happen to you, it's so difficult to even go down on your knees to pray.
Yeah.
Sometimes you ask yourself questions. If God is there, why am I going through this? So I can imagine if you're by yourself, what you were asking yourself, what you were thinking about others, and what you wanted to even tell God.
Yeah.
I wish.
You see, Doreen, like you rightly said, it gets to a point where you ask that question. I'm excited that you've actually hinted on that. You asked that question, that, so God, because especially with people in the eyes of a public, and when there is a certain public perception, or people have a certain perception about you. I have been an individual where people have had all forms of perception, all forms of their own way of looking at me as a person. And it sometimes saddens my heart a lot, because my manager is here. He knows me. He knows. I mean, I've been with him. I've been with Ashes for well over 25 years.
Yeah.
He knows I am a very easygoing person. I don't even make friends. I am always in my small corner. But before I realized, there are a whole lot of things being said about me out there.
Your name is out there.
You know what I mean?
But the human being is in there.
And people have all forms of descriptions. Like, I meet... You see, what saddens my heart sometimes is you walk into a room and you meet somebody who barely know you, who doesn't even know you. All the person knows is your name and your music.
Right.
And the person kind of like behave according to something he or she heard from somebody.
Yeah.
And then gives you that kind of reception, that prejudice. It's quite difficult. It's one of the difficult things I've have experienced in the last few years. But then I always say to myself that, hey, and you'll be an adoba, and everything that I've achieved between the year 2005 up until 2025, it's not by my might, but by the grace and the gift of God. So I I gather strength from that, and I go to God too on that premise that, hey, you gave me this talent, and you actually blessed me with all these melodies and all these tunes and everything that I'm able to do. You gave me the opportunity to be able to do it. So get me out of this and give me a new name.
Right.
The name which is a true reflection of the personality I am, and take away all that kind of, the slander and the distraction other people have done to me over the years. But I forgive everybody in as much as I forgive myself too.
Right.
For putting myself in a space for people to handle me in that manner.
We're so sorry about that. I'm gonna ask you this because it's something that most of the times we keep saying. Sometimes it comes up in conversations and we just talk, we brush it off. But maybe we've all not been fair to one another. I recently, I think Kojo Q was on Joy FM with Kwame Dazi, and he said at some point he was depressed and actually had to give his musical instruments out there.
Yeah.
Now, I know during this moment, as a person going through all of this, did it lead you to depression? And if it did, at what point were you able to get back on your feet and say, it's over?
Thank you for that. I mean, I'll share this to inspire every individual out there who is going through any form of, depression or any situation that actually has gotten you to a point where you feel like giving up. Yes, I must confess, there was a period in my life I went through a serious moment of depression. Very serious. I mean, those who are close to me know. And, I went through it to the extent that even there were certain posts that I made with today, I look at and I ask myself, oh my God, did I make such a post?
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? And that is what depression does. People also read all kinds of meanings into how depression has, it distorted my figure a little bit. It distorted my looks because I have videos and photos of those days. And I look at photos of recent times. Then it gives me a clear understanding of what I've been through. And it gives me a clear understanding of what depression does. So I will encourage everybody out there. The key to getting out of that situation is only one thing: prayer. Prayer. And on that note, I would like to say a big thank you to the womb that carried me, my mother. My mother has been a great pillar behind me in terms of prayer. And she will call me every morning and ask me, Abompe, sorry, Abompe, baby, and you are young to me. So there's a song on my EP called And Sonya Me.
Right.
That song actually is a whole story about everything that I've seen in life and how you can always, render everything unto God. And in His time, He will make things beautiful.
He will make things beautiful.
Yeah, He will.
You just mentioned the song And Sonya Me.
Yeah, And Sonya
And
Me.
because we were discussing this, I would want us to take a listen to the song And Sonya Me from
This is Hits.